Rev up your engines!
Well, here's bad news for everybody. The average price of a new car for the first time ever is over $40,000. That's a lot of money. Now you consider how old I am, 67, been driving cars for 50-something years. That whole time, my own personal cars, I spent less than $7,000 on it. Not including my wife's car, but my own cars. That's 50-something years of driving. I spent $7,000 to buy every car I ever bought. I'm not going to spend $40,000 on one of them, let me tell you. I'm too cheap. The average price went to $40,107. If you have a 70-month contract on that, your monthly payment is $581 a month. Shoot, that's a lot more than my monthly payment was for my house when I bought it ages ago. Now, some of it is because everybody's went to this SUV stuff. They charge more money for the SUVs. You're going to pay more. And another aspect of it, a lot of people that have lost their jobs and stuff, and this coronavirus stuff, they can't buy a new car. So the people who are buying new cars are richer people, and they will gladly pay more money because they want all the bells and whistles. It's kind of a double-edged sword here. And of course, for everyone else, it's a sad moment too, because the average price of a used car is now $27,689. When the price of the new cars go up, guess what? The price of the used cars go up. So even if people don't have a lot of money and they can't afford to buy a new car, the used ones are getting sky high. $27,000 for a used car. My grandfather would be rolling over in his grave. I can guarantee you that. So it's sad times for all of us. Things are getting too expensive. And when you think about it, hey, the price of the cars isn't following people's salaries. That's stagnated. But the price of cars keep going up. Something's going to hit. Something's going to break at some point in time. I can guarantee you that. Maybe people are just going to keep in their older cars for longer, which actually is true because the average car on the road now is pushing 12 years old. So, and people used to thought it was something when the average car was 10 years old. Well, it's past that now. So a lot of people aren't buying cars. And of course, when you consider this saying the average price of a new car, well, how many people are buying them? They're not giving that information out. It could be that just a few people are buying new cars and that's why the price is up. If they, people say it's too expensive, I'm not going to buy one. They're never going to give you that data out because, you know, they want to pretend that everything's fine. I met a guy the other day who was in Michigan and he was driving around. He saw these Jeeps parked all over the place. He said, gee, what's that? And the guy said, those are the Jeeps they can't sell. They got to put them somewhere. So they parked them all there. So don't always believe what you read when it comes to people in there. Oh, our sales are fine. It may not be true. Neil, real deal, says, Scotty, what do you think about a Buick Riviera, 59,000 miles for $5,900? It's a supercharged model, 1997. Okay, well, I would want absolute positive proof that it only had 59,000 miles. It's kind of unbelievable for a car that's, 24 years old. That's kind of unbelievable. But if it is, the price is whatever anyone will agree on. The supercharged ones are fun. They're nice to drive around. You're going to never be able to find another one that's got 59,000 miles on it that's that old. If a mechanic says it's good, go ahead and buy it. I'd try to pay less, but you're never going to find another one, and the owner probably knows it. Ronnie John says, how can we stop cylinder 4 from having my spark plug popping out all the time? All right. Well, if it keeps coming out, you got a problem with the thread. And what you can do is they make a kit. One company that's really good is called Helicoil. They have these Helicoil kits. You follow directions and you put a new Helicoil insert in it. Then the plug is in there solid and it won't come out anymore. It's called Helicoil, Helicoil. And they make very good kits, and you can learn how to put them in. And if you don't want to, you can pay a mechanic like me. I install them in people's cars all the time when they got an old engine that has a problem, and they work quite well. Peaches Meeps. I leave my car on during lunch to sit for the warmth. I don't rub my engine. Am I doing any damage by sitting it idling for 30 minutes a day? Thank you. Well, you're saying for warmth, so I'm assuming you're in a cold climate and you're running a heater. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Watch your temperature gauge because you don't want it to overheat if there's something wrong with your cooling system and it starts running too hot. No, that's a bad idea. Like in Texas, a lot of people would just do that in the summer, but they leave it running with the air conditioning on, and as long as the cooling fans depends on the radiator work fine, and the temperature gauge stays right about in the middle where it normally does, it really doesn't hurt anything. They take the cop cars, sometimes they'll sit for hours during events and stuff with their cars running. They crack the hoods a little when it's hot outside to get more air circulation, but it doesn't hurt them all that much. Noah Purdue says, what do you think of a 1979 Cadillac Fleetwood? It's only 39,000 miles for $800. Been sitting in storage 10 years, no rust. Would it be a good classic project car for the weekend? Sure. I mean, if it has no rust, hey, it's certainly worth $800. You never know the mileage. People lie, cheat, and steal about that. Who knows what the real mileage is on it? But yeah, you could have fun with it for $800, and if it isn't rusted, you get tired of it, you can always just sell it to somebody else who wants to restore something for it, you know? So what the heck? Why not? Even so, I'd say it's been sitting for 10 years. Get a battery, see if it'll at least crank over. If the engine's locked up, then you might think, maybe I won't buy it because I don't want to put a whole engine in it. You'd want to check that first. I got an old video out there called Getting an Old Car Started. It's been sitting for years. Watch that. Give that a try before you buy it. Kayla Chavez says, Scotty, I paid $2,100 for a Ford Focus ETS after a month wiring issues. It's been in the shop 2.5 months. Should I pull it out? I'm in Texas. Tell you what, make Ford buy it back. They got a deal where they're buying those stupid Focuses back. See what they offer you. They say they're paying between like $2,000 and $2,400 for the things. Sell it back to Ford. They had so many problems with those cars. The Ford said they're going to buy them back. Take it and let them buy it back, and hopefully they'll pay you more than what you paid for, and you get rid of the stupid thing. Or even if they pay you the $2,100 you paid for, get rid of it. They were horrible cars. That's one of the reasons Ford's buying them back. And the interesting thing was, Ford isn't saying what they're doing with them. I mean, it's not like they're saying, yeah, we're going to destroy them all. I'm assuming they're probably going to sell them to other people. I have no idea. If anybody finds out what Ford's doing with those Focuses when they do buy them back, please tell me, because I'd love to see. Maybe they're selling them all to South America. I don't know. I'd like to know. I asked Ford, but they wouldn't tell me. No way, Jose says, Scotty, what's the deal with towing laws in the U.S.? I got an '07 Honda CR-V that can tow 1,500 pounds here in the U.S., but 3,500 in Europe with the same exact car. Why is that? Well, they just have more liberal views. They have more liberal laws when it comes down to it. You'll laugh at this one. I was making a video with the friend's truck down the street, and he's got a 2000 Toyota Tundra. The thing's got 326,000 miles on it, and last year he towed 18,000 pounds of 1-inch steel behind it. And he didn't drive like a maniac, but still, it was 18,000 pounds of steel plus the trailer, which weighed another 1,000 pounds or so. And it's only rated at, I don't know, maybe a tops of 7,400 pounds towing capacity, and he got it back and forth, didn't have any problems. So, you know, they're more conservative in the United States, I guess, for laws of braking in case they're in a wreck and they cause an accident because they're too heavy and they flip it over. I don't know. I just know that that is true. In other countries, they say they can tow more. I know from a fact they actually can tow more, but you do want to go slower if you're going insane like my friend did and towed 18,000 pounds. Sonny D says, Scotty, what's the best new commuter car? How long it'll last? You want a plain old car? Get a Toyota Corolla. They can last forever. I mean, I've seen them go 500,000 miles, you know, as a commuter car. Now, if you're into hybrid cars, they make a Toyota Corolla hybrid you can buy now. Go ahead and get that. They can last a really long time, too. But forever and ever and ever, a normal car is better because there's less complexity to brake as they age, and they don't have $10,000 batteries in them either. You can buy a lot of gasoline with $10,000. Colin Digman says, Scotty, is a 2013 Chrysler 300 all-wheel drive, 42,000 miles, good purchase. It's in great shape, 13,500. Seems like a good deal. I would never buy that car, period. They're endless money pits. They just fall apart as they age. Now, if that's really the 42,000 miles is real, I mean, if you really want to buy it, maybe offer them 6,000 or 7,000 tops. They have no resale value. Everybody knows that they're not very good cars. That price is just way, way sky high for what you'd be getting. I mean, I wouldn't even pay that for a Toyota myself or a Lexus. I'm cheap, but I certainly would pay for a Toyota or a Lexus that much long before a Chrysler. Porter Dean says, Scotty, I got a 2002 Subaru WRX. It misfires under high boost, but idles good. What do you think? Well, when things misfire under high boost, they're misfiring under load. And those are always the hardest things to figure out. You always start simple. Spark plugs, air filter, fuel filter, clean the fuel injector, see what happens from there. But if it still does it, then it can get really complicated. Then you hire a guy like me, we hook up our high-level dealer scan tool, give it high boost, take it for a road test, and then analyze the live and Mode 6 data to see what is off. That's how it's done. If your check engine light doesn't come on, you got no codes, that's what you'll have to do, because all that information has to be analyzed by somebody who knows what it means. I did a video the other day on a Ford, and I mean, the thing had like thousands and thousands of lines of data to analyze. And if you're not a good mechanic and you don't know what that data means, pay a guy who is, and he'll look at it and then he can figure out what's wrong. Because it can get really complicated if it isn't one of those simple things that I said to do, but most of the time it is a simple thing. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.